Expectations are a funny thing. They can sometimes make or break an experience. Have you ever read about some place in a tourist guide, only to get there and find it overcrowded, or smaller than you'd thought, or dirty and just generally not great? On the other hand, have you ever had the experience of expecting very little, or having very few expectations of a place at all? In my case, when people would say, "The Highlands of Scotland are so beautiful," I would smile and nod and imagine big, open, flat moors, rugged and beautiful in their own way, but not spectacular. And yet, I have been completely and utterly blown away by the Scotland I have seen so far. Beginning in the Galloways to the southwest, we travelled to Edinburgh, and I spent 2 days wandering the city, one with Loki on a mission for a guitar and some hiking boots, and one without Loki, just to be a tourist. I enjoyed the city and would have liked to explore more, but cities aren't for me at the moment, not when it means having to leave Loki behind somewhere. So, quickly, we headed north, into the last of the heather, fading purple and red across the hills, wandering forest trails of pine and flowing rivers, places that took me back to Sweden. And then into the Cairngorms, a sprawling national park north of Edinburgh, full of little stone villages and more rolling hills and deep valleys, taking me back to Norway in the brief time we spent there. We crisscrossed through the Cairngorms, delighting in every view, every panorama laid out before us. Loki, for his part, lopes comfortably across the rolling hills, sniffing for grouse and mice and rabbits. He is completely at home in this environment, and I'm yet to decide if he's happier in the wooded forests or out on the open hills. We spent a couple of nights near Inverness, though I'll admit I didn't go into the town itself. Instead, we visited the battlefield of Culloden, which I'd learnt about through the show Outlander, and Chancery Point, famous for its regular dolphin sightings. Unfortunately for us, there were no dolphins, though we did spot a few seals, and Loki was fascinated with the larger-than-Australian seagulls that live here. And instead of dolphins, we took in the dawn, explored the beach, and simply enjoyed being here together, as we seem to have spent so much of this trip doing. As we continued on, our journey would be broken up sporadically by the need to get out and take more photos, to wander across the open moors and up hills just to see what was on the other side. When I look back through all the pictures I've taken, they are also remarkably similar. Hills and moors and hills and moors, except for the drive we did along Loch Ness toward Fort Augustus, when suddenly mountains broke across the horizon. Not jagged, sharp-toothed mountains like the Alps, but domineering and towering all the same, and unexpected in this place that I'd imagined to be so flat. Driving northward, the land changed again, did become something flatter, but covered in lochs, and everything burnt orange and red. Friends sent us recommendations of places to visit, and so we did, stopping at beaches and caves. On this beach, as is his habit these days, Loki became wild and naughty, as though unsure what his job on a beach was, with no sticks to fetch, no animals to sniff, no grass or heather or undergrowth to explore. Instead, he would lope ahead, turn back, and charge at me, biting for the lead, the pocket of my jacket, the camera strap, whatever he could grab and play with. All I could do was laugh and laugh and laugh. Letting him off leash at Smoo Cave, for leads here seem completely optional, assuming your dog is under close control, he romped gleefully across the bridge, and reappeared a moment later with a sheep that had surprised him. I swore and called him, and he, so stunned by his discovery, turned and abandoned his new flock to come back to me. We walked into Sandwood Bay, hailed as the most magnificent beach in the UK, accessible only by a 6.5k walking trail. And it was beautiful, with cliffs to either side and pounding surf, sandy dunes covered in beach grasses. But for someone who grew up in Australia and spent every summer at Wilson's Prom, it was a nice beach, but perhaps not the stunning wonder I had expected. There, expectations at play again. And so, with dawn staining the sky shades of pink and orange, we prepare to wind our way down the west coast of this most unexpected country. I've been told that the west coast is the crowning jewel, the favourite, the most magnificent, and I'm trying to temper these words, to not allow them to build images in my mind of what we'll find there. I want to be surprised and amazed and delighted of my own accord.